Italy has gained a reputation for producing the most beautiful cars. It may be a cultural thing, since many of the most reputed car designers on the planet, including Pininfarina, Bertone, Giugiaro, and Ghia. Italian automakers were not the only ones to benefit from the Italian knack for automotive design, since these designers have lent their genius to other manufacturers like Volkswagen's Carmen Ghia, Rabbit, and Scirocco models, were all devised by Italian masters. Same goes for the Cadillac Alante, Hyundai, or the extravagant Lotus Esprit, DeLorean DMC-12, and Subaru SVX. Here's a list of Italian cars. These masterpieces show us that cars are much more than just a way to get from point A to point B, they are the art on wheels. Iso from 1969 to 1974, the small Italian automaker Iso borrowed its V8 engines from Chevrolet and Ford, with bodywork designed by the greatest. They are extremely rare, only 285 were produced, was designed by Marcello Gandini at Bertone, though he is best known for the Countach. The Lele, short for Emanuela, the boss's wife's name, is stunning not least because of its many complex finishing details, like the strips of metal running along the sides to connect the front and back bumpers, or the flower design on the wheels, which was inspired by the race car wheels of the time. Lamborghini Espada from 1968 to 1978. This Grand Tourer, Gran Turismo in Italian, shortened as GT, is just as dramatic looking as its contemporary, the Lamborghini Countach, but in a completely different way. The long roof, large side windows that blend right into the hatchback, and hatchback that extends into the little vertical back window, it's all very eye-catching, showing off the designer's work. Alfa Romeo Montreal, from 1970 to 1977. You can't talk about Italian automotive design without mentioning this beauty. This feat of Italian design was presented at Expo 67 in Montreal as a concept car. The Montreal shares its engine and chassis with the Alfa Romeo Giulia TI, while its magnificent 1.6-liter V8 engine comes from Alfa Romeo's race cars. Gandini's favorite themes are in evidence here, too. Doors that mimic a bull's horns when open, headlights that are partially hidden behind eyelids, and 6 slats that were very common in the 70s. Lancia Aurelia GT, from 1951 to 1958. Arturo Benedetto and his famous red Lancia Aurelia GT. Bordering on perfection with its curves, ideal proportions, and no need for decoration, the Aurelia is a true masterpiece on wheels. This timeless classic, conceived by the most biggest names in Italian automobile design, Bueno at Ghia did the initial design, which Pininfarina then perfected, is considered the first modern GT. It's not an accident that most GT coupes, then and now, are modeled after it. Alfa Romeo Spider from 1966 to 1994. You know a car is successful when it stands the test of time without resorting to tricks to hide its age. That's exactly the case for this jewel, which was manufactured based on a Pininfarina design and remained in production for close to 30 years. The Spider's bubble headlights and long, round tail earned the nickname Dovetail Spider. Perfectly blended into the body, the taillights and central exhaust are particularly attractive. Subsequent versions spotted a larger tail and a variety of different bumpers and rocker panels, but most of the original bodywork never changed, proof of the success of Pininfarina's design. Fiat 124 Spider from 1966 to 1985. Italy and England were for a long time the two main producers of two-seater convertibles. Given England's rainy weather, whereas it just made sense in a hot, Mediterranean country like Italy. The equally long-lived Fiat 124 Spider came out at the same time as the Alfa Romeo Spider. This cute little roadster, designed by Pininfarina, also had a long production run with minimal changes. Although the front end is fairly classic with its twin humps and plunging hood, the bold tail stands out with its original rear wings like a furrowed brow. The overall design is much more masculine than the fine curves of Alfa Romeo. Lancia Fulvia Coupe from 1966 to 1976. While some cars give off a macho vibe, like Lamborghini Espada or Audi Quattro, others offers finesse, such the Fulvia, with its wide-open eyes, thin roof pillars, and rounded tail. The Fulvia was a first-class rally car, winning the Italian championship 8 times between 1965 and 1973. With its compact engine and independent front suspension, which was rare at the time, the Fulvia's agility and precision set it apart. The more you look at it, the more you love its simplicity, perfectly smooth sides, and a cabin that seems to have been dropped on the frame, making you feel like you're in a convertible. In some ways, the Fulvia is the opposite of modern cars, with their small windows and complicated lines. Ferrari 365 from 1972 to 1989. Automotive design of the 50s and 60s featured curves and contours, but the 70s gave way to straight lines, sharp angles, and geometric shapes. This Ferrari is an excellent example. It was quite novel for its time and has been frequently imitated. In the luxury automobile market, where originality is top selling point, a lifespan as long as this one, 18 years, is a masterstroke, proof of Pininfarina's creative mastery. Maserati Ghibli, 1967 to 1973. Maserati, the third biggest Italian automaker after Ferrari and Alfa Romeo, has known enormous success and financial hardship over the course of its history, which spans more than a century. But at the end of the 60s, Maserati was doing well and made some magnificent grand tours, including the Ghibli. Low, wide, and svelte, the Ghibli was designed by a young Giugiaro at Gia. With its distinct angles, pop-up headlights, and magnificent Campanolo wheels, the Ghibli was futuristic for its time. Its V8 engine was equipped with a dry sump so it could be mounted under the low hood. Many consider it the last true Italian GT. Maserati Mistral from 1963 to 1970. Mistral was full of finesse and is recognized for its elegant lines. It boasted a hand-finished interior that offered unmatched comfort. But the Mistral wasn't just a pretty face. With a twin-spark, double overhead straight-six engine, which it shared with Maserati 250F race cars, the Mistral could really hug the curves. If the Ghibli was the car of the future, the Mistral brought back many elements from the past, such as Barani wire wheels and a bumper that overhangs the grille. Thank you for your attention and have a nice day.